now.
Happy Wednesday, winners, and Happy New Year. It's our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to the Ladies in Motion podcast, Talk It Out, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I'm your host, Madam Walker, and I'm super honored, so excited to shine light and talk it out with today's winning lady. Y'all, she is someone that you want to get to know. She's definitely making moves in your community, my community, her community, his community, y'all. This is an international woman that's winning. So, before we get into that, I want to have everybody tuned in, share today's episode. Y'all, this is going to be so good. Somebody will be inspired, someone will be impacted, and someone will be empowered by the conversation that will be had today. So even if it's not for you, it may be for your neighbor or your sister, your brother, your friend. Make sure you share this episode, okay? Our share goal is 50. Okay, we always have a share goal, Milicent. So we have a share goal of 50, and the 50th person that shares this episode, you're going to get a little treat from me, okay? So make sure you share this video and comment done when you've done that, and the 50th person to do that, whatever platform you're on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this, make sure you share it. And that 50th person, we got something for you, okay? So I'm super excited. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. We can absolutely obtain that 50 goal. That should be easy money. Let's do this.
I believe that. It's 8 people in the room now, so that's 8. Okay, so 42 more. Okay, and we at our goal. So let's do it. Today's winning lady, y'all, is born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and she's making moves internationally, y'all. She's the author of the Little Millie children's book collection and the founder of the Impact Greater Good Foundation. She hosts book shows nationwide at schools and community centers, inspiring children to believe in themselves through positive affirmations. She's passionate about empowering her community through impactful outreach initiatives that inspire growth, learning, and positive change. And today, we'll be getting an inside scoop on her story and how she got started and her success. So, ladies and gentlemen, the self-proclaimed confidence and self-love enthusiast, Milicent Reed. Milicent, make some noise. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mercedes, for having me. I'm so appreciative.
Thank you. I'm so glad to have you. I truly do feel honored. You all that's tuned in, you should feel honored because, y'all, this is really a Talk It Out exclusive. Milicent, I mentioned she's the author and the founder of the Impact Greater Good Foundation, but this is just the beginning of this long journey of hitting her. And if you get to know her now, you better hold on tight because she is going places. It's a long journey ahead of her. So again, thank you. I'm honored to talk with you, to even be in your presence, truly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So appreciative. And I said Mercedes, but we're going to go with Madam Walker, the Madam Walker show. Okay,
either one works. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam
So
Walker.
Milicent, again, I always do shout outs. I'm the queen of giving shout outs. Everybody that knows me, anybody I've coached cheerleading wise, I'm going to shout out. I'm going to shout you out. If you do anything, I'm shouting you out. So I want to ask you if there's anybody that you'd like to shout out today, any business partners, anybody, whatever, let us know.
Yeah, I'll go with my glam squad today. So shout out to Shantae in Atlanta. She's always my Atlanta hairstylist. She the pixie cut with the pin curls. I love it. And Latina on the makeup. So you ladies did an amazing job. And then I wanted to shout out my brother. My brother, he has a daiquiri bar in Oklahoma, and he's a first generation restaurant owner in our family. So I'm so proud of you, Ty. Keep working hard. And if you're ever in Oklahoma, stop by, get a daiquiri. And my cousin Hawanda is there too from Louisiana. So you'll eat some great Louisiana gumbo, shrimp etouffee, and let me know how you like it.
That's what's up. So shout out to the family. Winning runs in the blood
Yes,
around
it
here.
does. Yes,
Okay, so one time for the family. Thank you again just for tuning in and joining me. Okay, so y'all make sure you tune in. I want to give a super quick shout out to a few. I want to give a shout out to King Locks. That's my cousin too. Okay, but he's a founder of the Save Healing Foundation. He's a home health aid business founder as well. But he does hair, and he got me right today. He retwisted me, so I want to give him a shout out. Y'all, Stephanie, give a shout out to my girl Stephanie. She did my lashes today. Honestly, I did my own makeup. I don't even usually do this, but you know, I did a little something. We don't got to do too much, but I just want to give my cousin a shout out who just been super solid. I want to give a shout out to King Curry, the founder of Power of Blackness and King Production. Just always there when I need them. They're here, y'all. I done been in Florida, had somebody hosting a podcast for me. call my boy Kirby, please set up the studio. It's already, just go there and do your thing. And I never have to
Family is
second
holding
guess.
us down.
I'm telling you, I never have to second guess. So to have that is such a blessing. So I want to shout them out. And I want to shout out my girl Jasmine Renee. She's also a lock artist in Polk County. She is amazing. I've known her for a long time since school, but she also raises awareness for autism because her little girl has autism. So we got a session coming up, but I was looking for sponsors for an episode. She was the first sponsor to sponsor an episode, and she's like, listen, I know you in Atlanta. I don't know when I'm gonna do our session, but I support you. She sent me whatever, and I can't wait to go to Florida and do our session. So I want to shout out my girl, because she always show love, and that is rare, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really liked about you, because when I first met you, it was the Florida connection, but also the Polk County. I have a lot of family in Polk County, so shout out to my family down in Polk as well.
Period.
But Florida girls, we get each other.
We really do.
We get each other, so
We
I
really
it was
do.
a connection for sure.
Thank you. So I can't wait to get into this. Speaking of Florida, I was raised in Polk County, and where I'm forever playing on. Okay, because I'm just, a product of my environment. So you think I'm winning? You ain't seen nothing yet. It's a whole bunch of women that's winning. Okay. And Milicent is a neighbor of Polk County. She's born and raised in Orlando, Florida. So we're about to get into that. I always like to ask my guests about them personally, so consumers, potential supporters can get to just know who you are outside of being the business owner, and just kind of what made you who you are today. So tell me about your childhood and what it was like growing up in Orlando, Florida. You mentioned you had a brother. I grew up in my household an only girl, so I'm built tough, So just tell me about your dynamic. What was your childhood like? Because she is the author of the Little Millie book series. So I just want to see if the Little Millie in person, did that really correlate with the Little Millie in the children's book series? Let's talk about all of that.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Little Millie, My Little Millie is the brand. So if you go to www.mylittlemillie.com, you'll be able to see the brand. But the children's book collection is Little Millie. Little Millie books are absolutely a reflection of my childhood. One of the cool things that I'm doing in each of the books is I'm dedicating them to a family member. Okay. So like my character book that just came out, Little Millie That Learns About Characters.
Sorry,
I'm dedicating that to the women who raised me. So it was my aunts, it was my mom's first cousins. And so those were the women who solidified my character. So when you talk about where I grew up and where I come from in Orlando, it was three sisters that raised us. It was my mom, my Aunt Sheila, as well as my Aunt Ann. Rest in peace to Aunt Sheila, and rest in peace to my mom. So Aunt Ann is still here. But collectively, they had 9 children, right? So my mom had 4, 2 boys, 2 girls. My Aunt Ann had 2 daughters, and my Aunt Sheila had a daughter and 2 boys. Okay. So we were real, real close growing up. And we have a huge family. And then I have so many first cousins and that we love that's a part of that. So we all grew up as a unit, right? So we went to the same elementary school. We live in the same type of neighborhoods and things like that. So you see one, you see all. And even the people who kind of grew up with us as you become older, they are asking about, where your cousin at? Where's this person? Where is this person? Where's that person? So that was our childhood in Orlando, Florida. And of course, as we got older, we moved different places. So like when I was 12, I ended up moving to Atlanta. Okay. And so one person moved to Atlanta, the rest of the family, it migrates on. So we have a huge base in Atlanta as well. But I come from a real big family. You hear me talk about family a lot. I know they sick of me online. The foundation. But my family means a lot to me. I'm a family girl. And for our family reunion, we are now 32 years in. Okay. So my mom started that legacy. And we get together. We come from all over. We love on each other. We're excited to see each other, right? And
real genuine love,
Right, we're going to show up for each other. Do we have our stuff with us? Of course, right. Everybody do. But at the end of the day, everybody know, okay, that family right there, they're going to show up.
Right, okay. And so I love that because I am the same way. And I love my family. Even before this, I was calling my mom. I was on the phone with her. And I looked at myself for a moment and I look just like her all of a sudden. And sometimes I don't see it, but sometimes I make a face.
When you get older, you start looking just like your...
Girl, I got little moles, like little freckles coming in. I'll be looking just like Angelina. Okay, so shout out to my mama. Quote unquote cream waves. I'm clean waves, okay. But I was telling her, I'm like, Mom, sometimes I think I'm crazy how in love I am with our family. Like I just love them. So I find that when you're like that, you really don't need a friend, or you maybe don't even have a whole lot of friends. Because I really don't. Like, who needs a friend when you got a cousin like mine? Who needs a friend when you got my siblings? So I really do move like that. Like I do luckily know that my friends, my faith, all of that, my family, my faith is like my foundation. You know, because some people get caught up in friends and they be heartbroken all the time. But you know, because so and so did me like this. But my expectations for people, oh, I shouldn't say it's kind of low, but it is what it is. You know, you don't owe me nothing. I don't owe you nothing, but my family, they don't really owe me nothing, but we owe each other love. And I always say this, when it comes to family, because a lot of people say this, we not perfect, you're right. So even me growing up, I go through my moments, oh, you know what, they piss me off, I'm not going to talk to so-and-so. But then God told me that you didn't choose them. You know, y'all got the same blood running in y'all veins. Like, I did that. So it's bigger than you. You know, so that taught me forgiveness, you know, within family and stuff like that.
Family stretch
what
you.
Time for the family?
Yeah, they stretch you, and there's so many different dynamics and components, especially when you're a part of a large family.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we all get along? No, I'm not going to sit up here and say every day is roses, peaches, and cream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have conflict, but one of the things that I'm learning is to be able to be honest and to work through that. You need space sometimes from family to heal situations and to heal past traumas and to recognize things that are going on. But at the end of the day, especially as I'm journeying and I continue to journey, my family has stepped up and supported me. Exactly. Like, I'm getting chills because without them, right, you go into the world, you do all of these great things, and I've accomplished so much. But when it comes back down to it, those people that I started with and being able to have their support, and they know Little Millie, right? They remember Little Millie. So it has just brought so much joy to my heart. And honestly, those moments that have been just so hard, and those moments when I want to quit, when I want to just give up, my family like, no, you're not, you're going that way. Okay. And so they keep my mind focused. They keep my mind straight when a lot of different things are coming at me. Yeah. They don't even let me get caught up in it, because sometimes I can call and be like, oh, this is going on. They like, reel you in real quick. We're not doing that. You have too much to do. You have too much. Impact greater good, right? Right. We got things we need to do. So yeah.
So I want to talk about since we're here, like, who inspired this entrepreneurship journey? Because even us, like my family, I came from a hard working family. Mm-hmm. So even when me and my cousin, for example, are doing our thing, they don't get it. They're like, what? No, you gotta work a job and retire and get it, which I get, but they don't understand like that. I'm going to spend money to invest in myself for Talk It Out or whatever the case may be. Now they're getting it because they kind of see. Yeah. But who did you see around you moving like an entrepreneur? Like, who inspired you to even start a new business or gave you that motivation? Like, okay, I can do this. Because when you see it, it's more believable that you can achieve it, you know? So, like, you're the three women that raised you. What were they, like, doing? Was there anybody else around you that wasn't? If they were, tell me about that.
I come from humble beginnings. My mom my mom and aunt worked in restaurants. Mm-hmm. They worked in restaurants. Right? Okay. And they were prep cooks, and they did a good job. These were women that got up and went to work every day. Right. These women did not sit on the welfare system or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They literally got up and went to work, right? 2 and 3 jobs to take care of us, to make sure we had holidays, to make sure we had the best when it came to school. My mom used to always say, my kids don't have to be the best dressed, but they won't be the worst dressed. Right? Okay. So we always had nice Christmases and things like that. My mom, when we moved to Atlanta, she wanted to do something different in her life. Mm-hmm. And so she started a janitorial company. Okay. And everybody in my family know about this, because if you came to Atlanta, she was going to get a free day's labor. Okay. You was going to come and work at Indiana J's and get these contracts. So I saw my mom running a business, but my mom didn't have the education behind it. Right. So there was a lot of things that she just didn't know. And to be quite honest, my mom was one of the most terrible leaders, that God rest her soul, but she just didn't have the education behind what it took to be a good leader, right? Right. And so seeing my mom do that and how she treated family and how she handled herself, I said, when I do get there, I was going to do it different. My family hold me honest to that when they're working with me too. Mm-hmm. They love to get feedback. And all right, real quick, accountability, the word of the week we're going to be talking about. So shout out to those people. My family, they hold me accountable. You know? I like it, but it's important. Because they like, we're not creating a little Indiana, right? You're going to be better because you do have the education and the credentials behind you. Mm-hmm. So the expectation is higher. And my family hold me to that, which I'm appreciative of. Mm-hmm. But saying that to say that I was a corporate girl. Mm-hmm. I'm a corporate girl. I landed at HR and I'm a corporate girl. I never thought that I would venture into entrepreneurship because I wasn't one of those people. I had tried to do a consulting firm, and then I was out at the pool. I was shopping. I was doing everything on those people down, like I like to say, when I was immature. So I used to say, listen, I'm not going to sit up here and work on my own business until I'm truly ready.
Right.
So I said, I want to go back in corporate because I'm also a relationship person and I love the connectivity. And so I went back into the corporate sector. This process was really started. I will be honest, the last conversation I had with my mom before she transitioned.
Okay,
because that's a whole nother podcast or a whole another interview. The spiritual alignment and the spiritual transfer that happened. But she was like, baby, why are you not out there? Because my mom wanted to be me. Right. So when I tell this story in the future, my mom she wanted the education. She wanted to be the businesswoman. So we talking and she's like, baby, why you ain't out there? I'm like, my mom want to smoke.
Okay. Because it comes with a lot.
It comes with a lot. And you look at what's going on in the world today. And when you are in the public sector, what's happening? Yeah. It's not easy when you put yourself out there, all of the negativity, the comments, everybody have something to say. And so do you really want that? Right? You have to really want that. And so I don't feel like I was necessarily strong enough. Right. Because believe it or not, although I have a very strong personality and I'm a strong woman, I'm very sensitive as well. I get it. So I've endured quite a bit. Right. And so I had to be ready for that. And so my mom said, why are you not out there? And our last conversation, I won't share much of the details, but she was like, baby, you ready? Go out there and, impact the world. So that's how Impact Great Good was going. Okay. And I always, as a kid, I used to love Bearstein Bears. You all gonna hear me tell this story 800 times. That was my book. And I said, when I get old, I'm gonna have a children's book collection. I love that for you. Last year going through the process, my Little Millie, and I just kept going with all of the things that as I went through the therapy process, which is another podcast, but the healing in that process, my Little Millie is healing. And it's me being able to transfer the healing and me as an advocate for my Little Millie and me being able to give that to the world. Right. So it's so cool, the process. So that's kind of how all of that got started. And now you got people calling me, hitting me up. We doing dolls, right, Millie? We doing this. We doing this.
The expectation has been set higher,
Classmates, family, co-workers, they're like, listen, how far are we getting ready to take
How far are we taking it?
And I'm like, we taking it all the way. And I love it because it means that they're watching, they're paying attention, they're getting it. And they're impacted by what you're doing, So before we do, I do want to get more into my little bit Millie children's book series, but I do want to ask you about your education. So you said your mom, and sometimes that's not her fault. Like they was raised a certain way by their parents, but she did what she had to do, and you seen her those skills start her janitorial business. And I love that for you, So tell me about your education. Like, what college did you go to? What did you study? Was the plan for you after you graduated was always to go to college and then go into like HR? Did you maybe have other plans? Because I like to, I like to ask people that question because sometimes when you first step into adulthood, you just think you know it all. Like, I'm 18, I'm grown. I'm grown. I used to hear that. I used to hear mom say, they ain't grown. And when I got there, I'm like, no, I'm grown. But now. And then when you get there, you're like,
now I'm 32, and I'm like, don't let me hear 18-year-old say I'm grown. I'm like, now I get it, So just tell me, like, what was your plans were for yourself when you first stepped into adulthood? Again, education. Where'd you go to school? What was the, what'd you study and like why? Like, tell me about that early vision. And when did it like pivot? If it did, or did some people stay the course? Shout out to Alicia Miller, my best friend, who I'm doing on the 29th. She stayed the course. As soon as she made it,
I love to hear it.
Hey, I'm gonna go be a nurse. They make this much money. And retire this age.
I love to hear it.
She went. She doing her thing. She nurse practitioner. She's double her income in 6 months already. She just now stepped into entrepreneurship.
Congratulations, best friend.
But again, stepped into entrepreneurship after telling me always, I'm not doing entrepreneurship. It's too risky. It's too this. But now thriving in it, and that's what we're doing in 2025. So tell me Milicent's story about that beginning and what she thought her plan was, and if it did pivot, how so?
All right. I always knew I wanted to educate myself.
Okay.
Anybody would tell you that. Like, even as a child, all of my teachers, education I was that child in school who took it serious.
Okay.
I'm also like that now. If you go training with me now, you'd be like, Millie, shut up. I'm going to ask a million questions, right? I've always had a liking and a love for learning. I just always have. And a passion for it. So for me, when I got out of high school, I knew I was going to college. I was originally going to the University of Tennessee. Signed, sealed, delivered. My mom and my aunt drove us down, and we picked out my dorm roommate and everything. I cried my heart out because my mom just couldn't afford it. She had called around to a couple family members, and it just was no resources.
Right.
But I had got that Hope Scholarship. So that was my fallback. And I remember telling myself, I'm going to college. So I went right on to Georgia State, took myself down there, went through the whole process by myself, figuring it out as I go. Because remind you, I'm first generation.
Right.
I have nobody to call. I'm the first one, but all I knew, I was going to college.
No excuse.
So I went down there, I figured it out, I asked questions, and they told me to come in, start. I picked my schedule. I lived at home with my mom until I was able to get in the dorm room, and that changed my life because I met my lifelong friends in the dorm room. But anyway, I went to school for journalism.
Okay.
I wanted to be a sports journalist because I love basketball.
Okay.
So believe it or not, I'm a huge tomboy. Everybody know that. I'm all girly now, but I started out rough beginnings. I know everybody got a throwback, the Millie throwback. They waiting to get them out. But I started out as a tomboy. So I played basketball. I'm a ball player, right? And so once I transitioned from actually playing basketball, I wanted to be a journalist. And my goal was to be a sports journalist. So I went to school for journalism.
Okay.
I will say this. In school, so many things happen, relationships or whatever. I didn't do an internship. And back then, women wasn't present in the sports industry. Right. So it would have required me to break in that industry doing a sports journey. But I got introduced to the guys and the men. So women, stay focused. Right? Girls, stay focused. Stay focused.
I tell one of my little girls, you first. I get on, I'm like, hey, who first? You first.
I mentor these girls. Stay focused. Yeah. I got derailed. And when I got derailed, when I got out of school, I was waiting tables. I met a guy waiting tables. This is the power of connectivity. Yeah. Being good people. Cheesecake Factory had opened in Cumberland Mall. And I met a guy there. He was waiting tables. And I'm like, I'm just trying to get my first job out of college. And he was like, this new company just opened up. Okay. Sales. And I got into sales. If you know anything about sales, you start making that money. It was a Google subsidiary. Okay. And I started making that money. I did real well. And then I got into staffing. Staffing because it's metrics and it's, driven. So it's still the sales component. But when they hired me in an agency, they didn't realize she's good at people too. But when I was going into Atlanta to all these different companies, I was like, these companies are dope. They cool. You start seeing so much of different things that you can do. And then I wanted to get on the corporate side. So I moved to Tampa to take a corporate job. Okay. And so that's how I ended up in HR. Okay. And then they just kept going and I started growing my career and just became a businesswoman, understanding it. And then so I got the BA in journalism. Then I went back and got my MBA. And then I got the Six Sigma black belt and the green belt.
Which we're going to talk about. Okay. What your MBA, what did you pursue?
Master's in business.
Master's in business
administration.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about this black belt, Six Sigma. Black belt, please.
All right. So what do you know about black belts? Like a karate. That's what people think of when they think of black belt. Karate. What do you think about when you think of black belt karate?
Okay, so I think again, like just being skilled, lethal. Okay. Watch out. And by black belt, you think like the highest of being skilled at this lethal protection or this lethal weapon, low key. And I heard you say that like kind of when we first met, and I was like, well, okay. But then you said it again the second time we met, and I'm like, dang, I'm gonna ask her more about this because you take pride in it and you mention it and what you said about it. Maybe you'll say it now. I don't want to misquote you or put out wrong information, but it seemed when you said it, I was like, okay, this is more than what I thought it was. So please explain to the people what that even means. And I wanted to ask you, with you being in your corporate setting, did that and then Impact Greater Good or the children's book, did that start like after you already kind of set in your corporate setting, or you were doing it as you were looking for your where you are now? Okay. So all of that in one.
Okay. So good question about the black belt, because you all have heard me talk about that a lot. Yes. People who are familiar with Milicent and following my journey. So the master's in business, everybody knows what that is. You have a master's in business, so you're qualified and an expert in business. The Six Sigma black belt is a process improvement. So when you think about karate, and you, like you said, the highest and lethal, that means any process in the world, I'm qualified to tell you how to fix that process or a broken process.
Heard that.
So
say that one more time.
So any process in the world, I'm qualified to tell you how that process can be fixed, broken, where the inefficiencies are. So if you think about, let's make it basic. Go to Starbucks, and I'm like, this is curious. And the grill where the people who are disabled or blind, and I'm like, how does this process work? And they all looking at me like, why are you asking so many questions? I be wanting to know every process. How does it start? So when a person come in here and they can't see, what are they doing? Then what happens? Then this. Then what happens? Then what happens? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? How much time is it taking for here? So when I go to the airport, my mind is going crazy all the time. I have to calm down because I'm literally like, well, this is inefficient. You do this over here and you do this and then you do this and then you do that. How much time is being wasted? So it goes into process improvement and time and just creating efficiencies, which is lethal for organization because it's money, saving time, money, and resources.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. And actually, that's what I heard you say when we was talking about it. You said, I'm a 6 Sigma black belt, so that's what I do. I think about this, and this. And when you said that, I'm like, but when you said that, I said, what do they got to do with karate? That's what came to my mind.
People would say, all the time, like when you say about your credentials, which you're proud of, because when you start thinking about the journey of a black woman and what it takes and how much you have to get in order to be recognized, to be seen, how much work you put into these credentials, right? Yeah. And you talk about it, people, oh, you bragging. I'm not bragging. It's just you have to understand my mind has been trained and programmed to think like this. Yeah. So it's hard when you're trained like that to come back down. It's hard. It's difficult. So to explain it to people like that, some people get it and some people don't. But to say where I started the journey, so I haven't necessarily been able to use my Lean Six Sigma certification, which I'm excited about my next career opportunity to be able to potentially use that.
Right.
But I will say that the My Little Millie, as well as the process of starting my own nonprofit combined with my professional experience has made me ironclad with my processes and making sure that it's proper. Right. So as I journeyed out in 2024 and I was building everything, I could have been out there, just threw something against the wall, but I wanted to slow down and make sure that I was building a solid foundation.
I love that.
And that everything was proper and set up properly so that it could sustain long term. Little Millie, I want to be here a long time. So I want it to be sustainable. And it's also important that I set it up, like I said, first generation. I want my family to have this wealth as well.
So how long, because I haven't even asked you that directly, we've been chatting this whole time. So how long has the Impact Greater Good Foundation been up and rolling? Like, how long have you been in motion with that?
It's been 6 months officially, but I started my but we've done so much, right? We've cranked it out. 2024, we cranked it out, but it actually officially started in June.
Wow.
We went September, we did a back to school initiative in DC. Shout out to Raw Divine Styles in DC. They partnered with us. It was an amazing experience. They got me on the map. Okay. And then we did the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Walk. We've done 2 homeless initiatives.
Yeah, you've been working, bro.
We've done, what else have we done? The My Little Millie show in Louisiana, where we did that in front of the school board. So we've done My Little Millie show. I've been in like 8-9 schools.
Yeah.
Now last year was busy. We was rocking and rolling.
Okay. So My Little Millie has been around longer than the Impact Greater.
Yeah, My Little Millie started. My first book launched in June.
Okay.
My first My Little Millie launched in June.
June of 24.
June of 2024. Yeah.
Y'all.
But I've been working. I was working 22 hours last year for 9 months straight. This is legitimate me telling the truth. I was working for 22 hours straight. And anybody in my life can tell you, this girl was calling. She was like, it was like so much in me that I needed to get out.
Yeah, I understand.
And I was just working, producing. Wow. So now everybody like, Millie, I had one of my leaders even say that. He was like, you had 4 books already published?
Right. And I want to talk about that. So y'all, you hear it here first. I cannot believe that you started all this stuff this 2024.
I was working. I've been really working, and I'm still in the process of working. But I will say this: You hear people say this all the time, Madam Walker, about that process.
Yes.
And about if you want it, you gotta go get it.
Yes.
Nobody gonna give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want it, if you really
really
want it,
it.
I'm gonna say that again. If you really want it, you gotta go get it. Nobody gonna give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that required a lot of late nights, overnights, and me grinding it out to lay the foundation. Because again, if you really want it, nobody's responsibility to give it to you.
So Milicent, y'all, I met her a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, and again, talk it out. I'm just an overthinker anyways, and I was already gonna start the podcast this season, but that first guest, I just wanted to be somebody who really made me feel like something inside. Mm-hmm. Milicent, we got to talking. She checked out my Ladies in Motion page. I'm a restaurant manager. I did my rounding down the room. I came back to the bar, went to talk to her, and she said, "Listen, girl, you're dope. Your brand look good. Your stuff looking good. What you doing? Like, you got something coming up? These episodes coming up again, right?" And then you said, "Listen, if you ain't thriving in 2025, that's on you. And I promise you,
that hit home."
Every day I tell myself that. Every single day I tell myself
if you really want it. Because I remember asking, I was like, "What you do?" You like,
She got me together, y'all. She got me together.
No, for real. I was like, "What's your elevator pitch?" And stuttering. I said, "Let me see what you got going on." I looked at her page, if you really want it. And she came back and said, "If you really want it, you got everything."
Girl, I went home that night. And so look, I'll be working long hours anyways all the time. And I'm always up late because, again, we are doing something outside of our work. Yes. So I'm home. I'm up till like 4 a.m. because now I got to talk it out. I got to think about Ladies in Motion when I get home after rocking crash. You get what I'm saying? So I'm up late. You told me that, girl. I got 4 or 5 elevator pictures in my journal working on them. Which one sound good? Which one sound good? Oh, I'm the creative. Ladies in Motion. We shine light on you, girl. Working. And I wanted to say, because you talked about the process, we're seeing this, and you started in 2024, but obviously it didn't just happen. And you say, okay, here it is. You built the foundation. You made sure before you pop out. What came to mind? Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. I don't know why that came to mind.
You gotta have a team, but you gotta have a support, and I will talk about that because in that crazy phase, in that building phase, you lose everybody.
Everybody.
People do not understand it. Let's talk that out. They don't understand it. They think you're coming at them. Why are you always talking about business? Why are you always talking about it? There's so much going on with you and the emotions, and it's just so high. It's just so much energy, so much passion. Because you remember, when God gives you the vision, somebody told me this last year. That's your vision, right?
Yours.
He didn't give it to everybody. So you have that deep passion inside you. And so when you're talking to people, Impact Greater Good may have launched in June, but I was talking about Impact Greater Good in December. I was calling all my players like, "Hey, are you going to be with me when I do this? My Little Millie, hey, can I count on you to do this?" Because I saw an interview with Issa Rae. I love Issa Rae. She had said, "You got to use your family and your friends to get started." And she said, "Don't worry about all of these big brands and who see you." She said, "Just keep going and get your stuff out there." The people who are going to help you are going to be your dope friends, your real friends, your family that's going to come out no matter what they say. You're going to get your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. They're going to support you. And then if you just keep going, once people start seeing it like you now, then they're going to be like, when your next episode, who you are? And then they're going to be liking, sharing. And so now it's exciting for me because I see now my family done got into it. Yeah. They in the ring now and they liking, they sharing, they reposting. But it takes you, my boss always tell me that, just go do. Just go do. And then once you go do, you will be amazed at how our meeting was so organic. It was. Me coming into the restaurant just to have, some woosah time. And then you never know who you're going to be. So you got to be ready. You got to have that.
So you don't got to get ready.
If you stay ready. And I told you that too.
You did.
I said, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Because if you miss the opportunity too much, you ain't going to have too many Milicents that's going to come in here and coach you. I'm a coacher and I'm an HR and I'm a leader and I love to put into people. But I was like, you're not going to run into too many me. You're going to miss opportunities. And so when I came back, you've been ready ever since.
Girl, ready ever since. I'm telling you, you bossed my life up with that. So I want to talk about accountability. Okay. We speak about accountability. Tell me about your journey with accountability. Because now, I would say now, as maybe it's the 30s, late 20s, I can really look at myself. I done messed up, and it's like, listen, I was tripping here. I didn't do this. Like, this is happening because I didn't do this. Like, self-reflecting. A lot of people can't do that. So just tell me in general about like your accountability, your journey with accountability, whatever that looks like when it comes to your book. Even before you did it, were you procrastinating before you launched your series, and then finally, okay, let me do it. Like, tell me how that went. Or were you, listen, I'm gonna do this because that's just how you're built. Like, I'm gonna do this, and you remain consistent, and then just took off. Just tell me about accountability.
Accountability is the cornerstone of your life.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get there.
It does.
Depending on how you grew up and where you grew up, what were your circumstances and what were your environment. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, right? And so for me, I made a whole lot of mistakes before a lot of people be like, oh, I know a lot of people look up to me, but it's like before I could become this version of Milicent, trust me, it's pictures out there. It's bad stories out
right.
there. I was a complete mess.
Mm-hmm.
I invested the time in therapy. I've done 10 plus years advanced therapy.
Wow.
And my therapist, no joke.
Mm-hmm.
That was her biggest thing, accountability. Mm-hmm. You would go in, this happened to me, this happened to me, I can't believe this happened to me. And she'll sit back and look at you. Together. She'll just sit back and look, and she'll be like, so what's up? What was
your action?
Yeah, what was your part in it? But what that did was it forced me to really, like you said, take a look at how I was showing up in situations, what I was given, and how and what impact it had, right? And so when I started to just take accountability for those things, it wasn't easy. A lot of dark days because, like you said, you mess up.
Yeah.
And we can't get back those moments where we messed up. And before we know we messed up already. And it can change our dwell. Yeah, and it could alter our lives. And so a lot of mistakes, so many mistakes, so many things that I'm not proud of. But I used to be ashamed of those things.
Right.
But the power is in those testimonies and getting strong enough to be able to share your journey and experiences. So you can prevent someone else from going through it and helping people to understand it's okay. It's okay. You live to see another day. And if you live to see another day, that means you get to decide to do it differently. But accountability is so big because it gets to the point with accountability when you have to tune out all the noise.
Yeah.
And you have to go with what you feel in your heart and what you know is right. And even when you mess up, even when you show up as less than, I always tell people one of the biggest things, especially my employees, about being accountable is your ability to take feedback.
Yeah.
Once you get to that point in your life where someone can give you constructive criticism, constructive feedback, and you're not mad, and you're not thinking they're trying to comfort you, and they're not hating on you, but it could just be simply that this person is giving you honest feedback.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the ability to be honest with you, but if somebody gives you honest feedback, not trying to hurt you, can you take that?
Right.
A lot of people can't. And along my journey, I've had a great support system who has held me accountable. My people don't tell Millie she right.
Right.
I promise you, they don't tell Milicent she right. If I do something improper, my people that I know love me, they will say it.
That's real.
And they will voice it. And that has made me better because I didn't need a yes crowd along my journey. And I even tell my employees that now. I don't need yes men. If you are, just do a good job. If you do good work, I'm like you.
Yeah.
But don't yes man me and be accountable. Be accountable to what you do and what you produce. I'll tell the story real quick. I was in Chipotle today, and it was this young girl cleaning the tables. And I was just watching her because I remember working at Taco Bell and McDonald's.
Right.
And her boss wasn't watching her. Right? Integrity. That's a part of the Little Millie Loves character. I talk about integrity, doing the right thing when nobody's watching. So I went up to her and I was like, it's going to get better. Keep working hard. Because I remember working at Taco Bell. And I was like, in your journey, this is just a training ground. But I was like, she just lit up. But that's accountability, right?
Yeah.
Coming to work to do the right job, no matter what the job is. And that's something I had to learn.
Yeah.
Way, so that's what I got accountability.
I love that for you. Tell me the names of the 4 My Little Millie books.
All right. The 4 My Little Millie books that are out right now.
What was first?
Little Millie and a Magical Mirror.
Okay. Let's talk about that. What can we expect when reading that book? Like, what is that book in a nutshell?
Little Millie in the magical mirror is the little engine that could.
Okay.
She looks in the mirror and she learns the power and significance of that mirror, and she gets all of her friends to join in the activities, looking in that mirror, saying positive things and smiling. And like, that mirror is really magical, because that's what it's about, believing in yourself and that confidence. So Little Millie in the magical mirror, you will see Little Millie as a child looking in that mirror, and she lights up. Yeah, they're getting that juice. Because I always had that juice when I was a kid.
Since you've been a kid,
don't get that twisted. Yeah, we had to get it out the mud, but I had that juice.
And then book number 2, what's that?
Little Millie Book of Affirmations. And that's 14 kid-friendly affirmations that I want to give little kids. It's the juice for them. I had the juice. I want to give you the juice too, little kids.
You got the juice now.
Yeah, you got the juice. They got the juice. And you know what? When I'm in the school system, when they be doing them affirmations, I can see when they get their juice. Because I have them.
I love that.
I have them repeat them. So I have them come up and I have them repeat them. And at first they be like, I'd be like, say, I am confident in myself. I am confident in myself. Then I'll lean over. I said, say it strong. Say it loud and proud. I am confident in myself. I'm like, there you go.
So you see the transformation.
I see the transformation every single time. And it's just about somebody affirming to them who they are. So that's Little Millie Book of Affirmations. And then we have Little Millie in the holidays. Okay. I was passionate about everything as a kid. Every holiday. My mom couldn't take me serious. Valentine's Day. What we doing for Valentine's Day?
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day. What we doing for St. Patrick's Day? Veterans Day. What we doing for Veterans Day? Christmas. What these gifts get ready to look like. Yeah. But I always was a passion and just carried that throughout my life. Yeah. So in that book, it was pretty cool because I showcased Little Millie as a kid and how she celebrated those holidays, but also as an adult, I put grown-up pictures to show to keep the passion for the holidays.
Okay, I love that.
Because when you get in the real world, like we talked about, and you got to be accountable to things, you lose that passion.
Okay.
So keep that passion.
I know, right?
And then Little Millie learns about character. Okay. And this is my best work, if you ask me. Okay. Because this book, it has dignity, it has humble, it has kindness, and I've incorporated a diverse group of Little Millie friends. So on that cover, you're going to see a disabled child. You're going to see a Jewish boy. You're going to see a white boy. You're going to see a white girl with blue eyes. You're going to see a white girl with brunette. You're going to see a black boy. You're going to see an Asian girl. The purpose of that is that I want every kid to buy into what Little Millie is about, because my journey has been unique. Yeah. My support system hasn't just looked like me. And I want to teach kids early that if you tap into that, then you can have such a amazing life. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, I'm a black girl, my friends are black. I'm a white girl, my friends are white, right? I believe in the world. I'm the new age Martin Luther King. I think we all can do it. I think it still can be done.
Amen. I love that. So, y'all, I love that for you, Millie. And I was going to ask you, but you already said it's for all kids. I was saying, this isn't just for little girls.
No, it's not just for little girls. So the next book that's coming out, exclusive. I mentioned it, but it actually will be dropping in February. So I have the next 2 books that are going to drop. It's going to be Little Millie Super Affirmations on the go. The reason why this book is important is because there have been so many adults that have told me that my Little Millie books have brought healing. Yeah. Because as they're reading these books to their kids, they're like, I never told myself I love me. So it's healing adults as well. So my Little Millie Super Affirmations on the go. These are for the adults that need healing. I put in 21 affirmations for you to say to yourself as well as with your child. And you can, in the car, you'll see the cover. It's on the car. You can have that book in the car and you all can say these affirmations together. Then we have Little Millie Tomboy Club, because I was a tomboy and we're incorporating boys in the fold. So on that book, you're going to see a heavier set boy, autistic boy represented, Puerto Rican boy represented, a tall boy represented. I wanted to albino boy represented. Everybody is included. So Little Millie Tomboy collection club, all the boys that I grew up with, you all can relate because you already know what time it was with me, all my cousins and things like that.
I love that, Milicent. Yeah. And then won't go on too long, but I definitely want to talk a little bit more about the Impact Greater Good Foundation. You started that. I can't even believe that because you've been doing so much.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, when I say lady in motion, I mean that lady in motion, woman that's winning. You've been busy, girl. So tell me about the foundation and why you decided to start that. What is the purpose and your mission and what you got coming up next concerning that?
Impact Greater Good. The mission is simple: do good 365 days of the year. I've been in the community the last 15 years, active in the community, doing the actual work. So I don't just show up for a photo opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I have been doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done it for so many organizations. I was partnering with the NFL doing it. And it was just time. It was time. I have the education, I have the credentials, I have the experience. So I wanted to start my foundation. The basis, two things that I'm focused on is community outreach, as well as education, because education is my thing. Education through literacy with the kids, my Little Millie, and then I'm going to be teaching different things from my corporate background. So we'll have some diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings. We'll have some HR trainings, and really any training a process that need. I would be your girl. That come to me, right? And then community outreach. I'm just active in the community. Whatever the need is, as I go to these different areas, I'm partnering with locals and just out. We've done homeless initiatives. We've done back to school initiatives. I did the Ronald McDonald House. I did a reading of My Little Millie reading at the Ronald McDonald House. So I'm going to keep it going. We have a Valentine's Love in Action because a lot of these foundations during the holidays, they do a lot.
Yeah.
But where is the work during the year? Because the need is still there during the year. So I want to make sure that Impact Greater Good is just that. Impact Greater Good 365 days of the year.
I love that. And go ahead and tell us where we can find you on social media. Where can we stay where can we stay connected? There was an event going down this weekend, January 11th, the Thrive and Shine 2025, which we are going to talk about briefly. Shout out to Monique Garside, who through you I get to interview next week as well to talk about the event. What we were gonna do initially was recap the event, but because it's postponed because Atlanta want to have crazy weather. We're gonna do our interview next week with Monique, and then that weekend on the 18th, they're gonna have their Thrive and Shine 2025 event. Before you drop out your socials, then since we're on it, tell us what can we expect from that event? Like, what gems will you be dropping? Why is it important that people show up and make sure they're in that room?
Thrive and Shine 2025. It's the beginning of the year. If you want it, you gotta go get it. Nobody gonna give it to you. So Thrive and Shine 2025 is an empowerment event to start your year with some energy. And we're gonna be focused on teaching and talking about how you build your brand. Monique is a mental health therapist as well. So she's gonna also be talking about how you do that and stay healthy, right? How you take care of yourself in a process. So Thrive and Shine, you definitely want to be there. It's going to be a lot of energy, and just everyone who's looking forward to doing something different this year, looking to start or get to reignite your brand. Let's go. Tap in. The tickets are available. You can find them on my social media, which I'll just give you my social media. So Instagram, you can find me at Impact Greater Good. IMPACT Greater Good. Okay. You can find the My Little Millie at @ My Little Millie on Instagram as well. The third brand, Confidence Self-Love, which is a lot, but bear with me, you all. Confidence Self-Love. So Confidence _ Self-Love Enthusiast is where you can find. If you go to one of those pages, you should be able to go to the top and tap into all the other pages. But everything is out there. www.impactgreatergood.org and www.mylittlemillie.com.
And don't you have an ebook?
Yes, I have 2 ebooks. The ebooks are real cool. They're not particularly doing well right now, which they should, because again, you all, I'm a process person. It's so much. I have so many stories to tell. I used to be 289 pounds, right? Everybody know me. So I've done the work, right? I've overcome so much in my life. I put if you want a cheat sheet and you don't like doing the work, I put my heart and soul into those ebooks. The first ebook is Ultimate Confidence. How you step out and show. Right.
I'm sorry.
Ultimate Confidence ebook. And then Self-Love ebook. That ebook is the blueprint right there. Self-love, best love around. Because if you love yourself, can nobody take that away from you.
Starts with you.
Listen. So self-love, best love. And then the last one is Radiate positivity. Because if you live a life of sunshine and enthusiasm, it comes back to you. What you put out is what you get back in. So the ebooks are dope. And then they all come with 21-day supplement cards because it takes 21 days to make a habit. So I literally walk you through the process, my process, of what I did in those 21 days. So
thank you so much, Milicent. Is there anything else before we close this thing out that you just want the people to know? I'm glad y'all make sure you share this video. Remember, the 50th person is gonna get something. But I look forward to what you're doing in February with the Tomboy. Y'all got some exclusives here. Yeah. And you just want to support this queen. The purpose of this platform is to allow you all to hear directly from her. Okay, I thought about buying that children's book, but I don't know who wrote that. So let me get to know the person who wrote that, and now I can get that from my niece and my kids or whatever the case may be. So you're hearing it here first. If you're unsure about participating in the giveaway that the Impact Greater Good Foundation is going to have coming up, you hear it from the founder right here. Why would you not support someone who's genuine and they mean this? She's been passionate her whole life. She told you that. And that's what I love about this, because nothing is by chance,
No, it's not.
So you are right now, I'm going to leave everyone with this, because this always sticks in my head, okay? So I'm a power girl. You watch the Powers, 50 Cent Power, the Ghost and all that. Okay, yeah, see, I feel you. All right. But that's when I started watching TV. My oldest brother used to be talking about this show. And then I had a cousin who moved in with us for a little bit, and she was talking about this show, so then I started watching it. But I'm going to leave it with this. At the end, everybody knows Tariq ended up killing his dad, and the initial plan was for the mom to kill the dad. But then Kanan, that's 50 Cent, his ghost showed up, and he tells Tariq, like, no, you can't do this, man. You got to do this. You don't want that on your mama, yada, yada, yada. And then he says these words, and these stood out to me. He said, it was always going to be like this. You just got to step into it. So me looking at things in the spiritual realm, I'm like, you know what? I was always this woman that was winning. You always been Milicent Reed, right here who you think you are today. You just got to step into it. So if you're tuned into this and you unsure about your purpose and your journey and where you're going, that person who you think you are, all you got to do is step into it, okay? It's time to start walking like it. Walk it like I talk it. Hey, walk it like I talk it, okay? So if you have nothing else to say, we're going to wrap this thing up. Anything else?
No, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk it out. Madam Walker, this has been a great experience. Has started my media journey, and I will forever be indebted to you. And I'll be back. I'll definitely be back as I continue the journey and accomplish more and do more. I want to support you, love on you. So you all, we need more than 50 likes, shares. We can definitely do it. It was some good content. Clip it, share it, like it. Support my girl. For real.
Thank you so much, y'all. And until next time, I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Bye. Oh, this is so good.